AskReddit by Secret Agent 4706. What are y'all starting to dislike the more and more older you get? Always being tired and getting up in the morning. I really took the amount of sleep I got when I was younger for granted. 6 years ago I made the commitment to myself that no matter what was going on in my world, I would allot myself a full 8 hours a night for sleeping. It took me over a year to finally get it to work, and now I get 7-8 hours every night. I'm much happier, and I'd like to believe healthier, for doing so. Trying to be cool and get attention, especially with people whom I am not close to. Now I just wish to be peaceful. This one for sure. I'm not cool, never have been, never will be, so let me be lame in peace. Loud noise. I crave silence so much. So many people just don't seem like they can operate without noise. Like my wife will always turn on the TV or something around the house for background noise. I hate that. I love nothing more than the sound of silence, but it's so hard to actually get these days. Hangovers. I find the best thing about hangovers is, there is no one else to blame. Social media. It's just gotten worse and worse since I was in high school. The internet was cool before the corporations figured out how to better monetize and control it. I'm 62. Working has lost its color. I'm 35, but I've never had a time in my life where I liked work. It was always an obligation, a place I had to be at. I assumed this was the norm. Everything needing an app. Why can't I just use this perfectly fine browser? The worst part is when the app is very blatantly just a wrapper around a website that literally does nothing that would require it to have said app. Fashion. Or trends. The older I get and the more I see trends coming back over and over, I realize how dumb it all is. Wear a style that works for you and don't change your whole fucking personality and life because some paid influencer proclaimed thing is now in. I saw influencers hail crop tops as the best thing ever. Making TikToks then they can only be taken from them over their corpse, and then never wear any again. For me it's the fact that it's so youth driven. The older I get the more ridiculous I find it that I'm supposed to change the way I dress just because a fucking teenager has arbitrarily decided they dislike something. The whole idea that being young entitles you to dictate what people should wear is just the arrogance of youth. The 5-day work week. Tagging onto this commuting. We do work too many hours, but at least we get paid. Losing an additional unpaid hour or more of your day is tragic. People talking loudly on the phone like, dude, you're next to the mic. Worse is when people, in public, talk loudly on their phone on speaker while holding the phone close to their head. It's just so obnoxious. Real I am the main character syndrome. Work. At this point I'd rather not do it, lol. I honestly don't mind working. I like money and working facilitates that. It's work culture that grinds me to dust. Can I just show up, be polite, get paid and not have to be dragged into mandatory fun, overly intrusive icebreakers at meetings and forced interactions with people I really don't like? Perfectly willing to accept that all of this is a me problem, but way too many people substitute work for having a functioning social life. Gossip. I never enjoyed it, but being around grown adults who speculate to overcompensate for whatever insecurity is insanity. Bang on. I find the environment I work in, railroading, the gossip between grown-ass men is worse than high school drama. People. In my 20s I thought the old guy living alone in his cabin in the woods on the outskirts of town was a weirdo. Now at 48 I think he might be a genius. Social media, specifically Instagram. I realize how much time I wasted worrying about how people perceive me and my interest and experiences. Same. going on a year off of it, and I'm just now starting to feel like I can breathe again. People who are judgmental towards others having a life challenge. Life has a way of humbling us all, and you never know when you're going to go through a challenging period, need help, have a medical crisis, etc. Saying I would never let myself get into that situation is ignorant, because shit seriously happens sometimes. We all have periods of vulnerability where we don't make our best decisions. Responsibility. Honestly, I'd rather be a kid, young adult, and having to deal with very little. Now I'm responsible for my family, work, income, bills, house, chores, insurances, parenting, etc. And it doesn't get any less. Seems like there's just more being piled on. I cried about this on my way to work this morning. It's all so much. I've been a single parent for the last 10 years and I feel like I'm barely holding on at all times. I had such wonderful hopes and dreams for life when I was younger. People and work. People at your work. The vicious cycle of people treating each other poorly because someone treated them poorly in the past, so they feel the need to treat others poorly. And so on and so on. So exhausting. Willful ignorance. Food chains on every corner. As a kid I loved Panera, Chipotle, Starbucks, etc, but I've grown so tired of traveling the country and finding the same stuff in every city. I live in an area with massive growth and I swear 80% are chains. I agree with this. I love trying cool independent coffee shops or stores, but now all high streets are overrun by chains and franchise stores. It's so boring. Children screaming for no reason and loud noises really frustrate me. I work close to a Chuck E. Cheese my friend works at, so I sometimes wait for her to get out. The amount of times I've looked at a screeching kid and in my head went, why are you screaming? I always just end up going, whose kid is that? Unnecessary or excessive noise. Celebrity worship. Mean people. Generica. The same shit, strip malls and stores everywhere I go. The same bland architecture, be it stores or luxury condos. Nothing has charm and style anymore. I could be in West Virginia or Florida or New Jersey. Hard to tell. People. I'm getting cranky and increasingly fed up with having to deal or see people who have no consideration for others, usually in public. Narrow sidewalk? Lem, just go in the very middle of it, arms outstretched to the sides, so I take the whole width. Quiet bus ride? Lem, whip out my mixtape that everyone in the vehicle hears. It's so sick. Shopping going nicely? What if I stand sideways with the trolley and or my buggy bags and block the whole aisle, because I found that one jar of pickles particularly fascinating? Leaving the house. Dude, if I won only 2 million or so, I'd quit my job and just stay indoors all day, maybe go to the gym or something, but I would never leave. Drinking. Honestly, yeah. I'm still in my 20s but know so many people who don't drink in any meaningful quantity. I just can't handle it like I did in college and am not willing to sacrifice a whole weekend to be a little bit more silly on Friday. Television programs. I've become so picky I barely watch anything. Hard to watch anything when the CEO cancels it 2 seasons in, because they personally weren't interested in it. I don't bother with any new series. I keep my timetable about 5 years behind. Meeting new people. They're also closed off, and it's exhausting to let someone know me again when they're likely to ghost, and when the main means of communication is now this capitalist download the app internet, where even meeting people is download the app. Anyway, hi,